While other games offer resource collection in various forms, like mining, for example, it is not necessarily a fun job to do in a game. This is where always with mining, we've had this approach of like, no, this needs to be fun. Like every part of it, there needs to be fun. There needs to be a challenge. You need to have a risk involved. There needs to be something that doesn't quite end up as you planned in the beginning.
When I was with a friend and we hit the Iron Belt to look for some Quantanium, we stumbled over the problem that with a proper setup of the prospector, it was not even possible to crack like the biggest stones.
In the previous updates, we kept adding more and more tools for the players to mine, and we also ramped up the difficulty of the mineable rocks. This presented us with a bit of a problem where, since we went more and more towards a multiplayer, mole experience, 2-3 prospectors working together, the problem became that single players kind of were unable to reach that content, not being able to mine very hard rocks. So we figured out that there is a niche that we need to start catering towards. So whatever we did for single player needed to be harder and have heavier risks involved. So this is where we came up with the idea of the mining gadget. The mining gadget allows the player to access those super difficult rocks, but it comes with an entry-level cost. It comes with an inherent risk, which is anyone can just come in, shoot you, they can come in and steal your ship. There's so many things that can happen.
In total, we have right now 6 devices. So we have one like the Bormex that is for resistance reduction. We have the Zabia, which is for instability wave shift. It's a mix of resistance reduction and increasing the optimal charge window. We have the Okunis one, which is also for instability reduction and having the optimal charge increased. Then the Stalwart, its increased charge rate and also some moderate resistance reduction. And Optimax is for the optimal window increase and optimal charge rate increase.
So part of the idea behind this was that, there's a conscious decision that you think, okay, this mining deposit has a lot of stuff I want. It's quite difficult to mine. I'm going to take a little bit more time, go outside and place this gadget.
Once you placed it, then you have to find the resonance of the stone that you just attached the device to. It's our minigame, but it's a meaningful minigame.
It's kind of a small puzzle, aligning some slider bars with a wave. The idea is that if you get over a certain percentage, you can activate it.
There's a confirmation, so it starts blinking. That means that it's now functional. You get back to your prospector and you do your mining process.
It's gonna put this effect on the rock until you destroy the gadget, you deactivate it, or the rock breaks apart. Right now we're really working on the animations and the art for it. It's gonna be a lot of work in progress.
As to where we want to take the miner player experience in the future, we are looking right now at ship refining and getting the Starfarer to be able to refine whatever the prospector and mole are harvesting right there on the spot together with their mining buddies. And that's what we think will close that lovely gameplay loop of resource acquisition from mining.
Mining gadgets are the latest in a long line of expansions and improvements to the overall mining gameplay as the team continues bringing it up to what we'd consider a gold standard for other professions to follow. And you can look forward to working with them when they arrive in the upcoming Alpha 3.16. But up next, it's sprint report time, so let's get to it. Let's start things off this week with the world of in-game brand logos, where a final pass was recently completed for the Mercenary Guild. Now, when hired guns were sought to provide services that had normally been regulated by more official channels after humanity's first contact with the Xi'an and the subsequent war with the Tavaran, some of the largest mercenary firms banded together to form the Mercenary Guild. Now, since then, they've helped protect their members from fraudulent companies and protected their rights to operate within UEE space. Now, among these options, it was the first one that was selected to enter the persistent universe. Work also continues on the Drake Vulture, the entry-level salvage ship scheduled to come online sometime next year. Now, currently in gray box phase, this is where the team looks to add as many signature Drake elements as they can, steering into the heavier, more brutalist aspects found in other Drake spacecraft. You can bet we're going to follow along with its progress as it continues over the next coming months. Moving on over to the character team, members have taken a sprint to update some of the texture sets for the various inhabitants of the persistent universe, both NPC and player-controlled alike. The work is subtle, but by including a number of irregularities and imperfections throughout, it helps us achieve a greater sense of realism and expectation when engaging the characters you meet throughout your journeys. And the best part about all these is that the improvements aren't just for the NPCs you'll encounter, they'll also be used in the character creator once they're deemed ready. And if you're wondering, what happened to the eyebrows? Me too. Turns out the team is looking to add customizable eyebrows to the character creator as well, so they'll no longer be baked into the face textures that you see here. Now, as with all things you see on Inside Star Citizen, all of these are still a work in progress, but it's been a while since these faces got some love, and it's exciting to see their time on the development wheel come around again. And you can also see here how they can come together with facial hair and scalp to form the best version of old Eckhart yet. Just look at Mama Miller's Mighty Man. Looking good, Phil. Speaking of the character team, I'm going to sit quiet for a little bit and let you all take a look at the newest armor set coming to the Persistent Universe, the Queerness Tech Medium Armor. As for where you'll find it, try Hurston Security. And before you ask, yes, they'll be lootable. Let's all rage against the machine, everyone. Those of you who watched the Pyro presentation at CitizenCon or Josh's in-depth tour of the pre-production process for Outlaw space stations on last week's Star Citizen Live may have noticed that graffiti plays a noticeable part in how the various outlaw gangs scattered throughout the system identify and claim their territories. And what you're seeing here is a first pass initial exploration of murals to be found throughout those stations. These are the earliest of explorations, helping us see what works and, often equally as important, what doesn't work, what doesn't read to the player, and what simply is or isn't the right ethos for each gang as the narrative team had designed them. Now from here, explorations will continue, and if you haven't seen the full-length pre-production explorations of these upcoming Outlaw space stations, you can check out the SCL replay with Josh Van Zulen up now on YouTube. Just don't let the Italian Spider-Man ruin it for you. It was a good demo. Josh did really good. You can see it after that part. And continuing with the Outlaw space station explorations, the team began a pass on some new exterior thumbnails, looking for ways to differentiate the structures found throughout Pyro from the ones you're familiar with in Stanton. Now, we've said it before, but it always bears repeating. Concept stage is the testing ground for new ideas, and most of the early concepts you see for any character, feature, or location may never be taken to completion or implementation. And in some cases, like good old number 1 here, they may actually be held for potential use in a different star system other than the one it was originally intended for. But that's how the process works. As for which one or ones will move forward into the Pyro system, it's still too early to say, but we'll be following along with every aspect of the new star system from now until the day it arrives in the persistent universe. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the impressive faces in the persistent universe are well on their way to being even more so. That there's gonna be some mayhem on the outskirts of Hurston as people try to obtain the latest fashion. That just because you're an outlaw doesn't mean you can't express yourself artistically. And that Pyro aims to be the anti-Stanton in every way it can be, including its space stations. Now, Alpha 315 is currently available to all players on the PTU, and it should be going live. It's so close it could shoot you full of Roxafen and you wouldn't know it until it's too late. Keep an eye out on the website to find out when. And don't forget to check out the new 400i from Origin and the You Dropped the Bomb on Me, baby, Hercules A2 from Crusader Industries. And we're just 2 short weeks away from Alpha 315-1 and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. So to kick things off, next week's show is dedicated entirely to the Vehicle Experience team and their work on 315, 316, and beyond. So come on back and check that out. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckaby with a haircut. We'll see you all next week.